bouncing back after Tuesday?
Really good practice today. Learned a lot from the video. Last game we didn't play well enough to have a chance. So we had to come out and do what made us successful all season.
I know Arizona had some success with Coloco, especially in the middle, kind of as a big post-interior presence. How does he compare maybe to Miles Johnson in terms of making it difficult?
Coloco's
plays longer.
7'1", very long. Miles Johnson's a very good basketball player, so I think both are a little different type players, but both very good defensive, outstanding rebounders. So there's a lot of similarities, but Coloco's a little bigger and longer.
How different is UCLA when it's Riley versus Johnson?
Well, Riley's experienced all-league type guy, so he knows he's a very smart basketball player, very tough. But he's different. He's more skilled on offense, very good low post player with the ball, can make mid-range jump shot. Johnson's a little bigger and more athletic, so he provides a little more shot blocking and athleticism. So I think when you combine the two, you have a very potent center position for 40 minutes.
It's an important game regardless, but not wanting to go 0-2 into the tournament. Is there a little more weight on this?
Well, we didn't want to go 0-4, so we won Oregon State in a road game. We beat Oregon on the road, and then we lost, so we're 2-1 in the last three. So
there you go.
I don't look at it as just one game. UCLA has won a lot of games at home at Poly Pavilion, and we've been one of the few teams that have beaten them there the last few years. So this is a hard place to play. And we know the top 15 team in the country, like we are, and the two good teams that know each other pretty well with a big home court advantage in their favor. But we'll play as hard as we can.
Today was your first day back from practice, from the game. How much time do you spend focusing on the last game before transitioning to UCLA? And how do you do that after an off day?
Well, we watch video in the areas. You have to learn something. If you play as poorly as we did, you have to learn something from that. Find out. The players had to realize what they did wrong, and they didn't yell and scream at them. They just could watch the video and see it for themselves. That was not the same team they've been all season. It was disappointing because it was against the top team, the second-ranked team in the country, at home and in front of a great crowd. So the biggest disappointment in our program was that we had a big stage and we didn't play well enough to have a chance. So it was very disappointing. But when you look at a 31-game schedule, you have a few games where you don't play very well, and that happened to be against a really good team that made us pay every mistake we made. And so we're 25-5 right now. That Arizona game, whether you lose by 1 or 2 points or 20 points, it's only one loss in the record. Obviously, you want to play well. If you do lose at the buzzer, you like to play well. Like we did up there, we played really well at Arizona and lost in the last minute. But that was we had a lot to learn from this game, and we have a lot to play for this week and next week and the following week. So our season, we have a new season beginning here, and we think UCLA is it's a crosstown rivalry, and both teams are really good, and it should be a lot of fun. We just have to play as hard as we can and a little better than we did on Tuesday night.
Longer than usual film study today, or?
It wasn't. It was about normal. Like I said, our purpose as a staff is not to yell and scream at our players. We made our points. They understood. They saw it themselves. They made mistakes that they haven't made all year. Our transition defense has been outstanding all year. It was terrible against Arizona. Lack of effort, lack of understanding, lack of doing your job. And our ball screen defense was really poor. And it's been great all season. Same thing. Didn't do your job and didn't help each other out. So we did things that were very uncharacteristic for a team that's 25-4 going into that game. So we deserve to lose. And we have to get better, understand what get back to. It's important for our players to see that because we have a lot to play for in the next 2.5 weeks.
Who hits the buzzer beater this game?
Who knows? Let's just hope it's someone on our team.
The win streak against them, what kind of pride is that for you, for this program, that it's gone this long?
Well, I think when we were fortunate enough to beat them at home a few weeks ago, I didn't realize this until after the game. It was the first time that that we had won 5 in a row since before World War II, and that's a credit to our players and where our program is. Our players have really just done a great job, and not just in the UCLA series, but overall the last few years. And so we don't sit there and promote. We respect UCLA tremendously. They are a terrific basketball team. They are great players, very well coached, and so every game is different. Just because we've won 5 in a row has nothing to do with this game on Saturday. It's its own game. I think it's senior night senior night for UCLA, last game of the season for them at home, and they'll be ready to go. And we know what we're getting into. There'll be a packed house. The student section will be on our team the entire game, and on our coaches as well. But that's what college basketball is all about. It should be a lot of fun to be in that environment, and our players just need to play as hard as they can and just give themselves a chance to win at the end.
They made it pretty clear they would really like to end this streak. I think one of their players said you got to put your life on the line this week. I mean, when you're entering into like an emotional game like that, especially even all the other added emotions, what's the key to kind of harnessing that emotion but kind of keeping even keel, especially for your team? You have some experience.
Well, I think every rivalry game has a lot of emotions. But once the game starts, you have to play basketball, and you can't get too high or too low during the game. First off, if you're too energetic, you can make a lot of mistakes, I think, if you're worried about. But once the game starts, I think you have to settle down and do what you do well and play to your strengths. So hopefully our players make some shots, more than they did the other night. We have to have our starters and our bench play well.
Have you been affected at all by the ankle or?
He still has that nagging ankle injury that he sprained it fairly. He sprained it pretty badly. He plays with a lot of pain, and he probably shouldn't have played against Oregon. But I shouldn't say shouldn't have played. He was not 100%. We leave it up to our players and our trainer and medical staff. So we never play players unless they're comfortable and they're healthy enough to play. But it wasn't. He still had a little bit of pain, I think, and sometimes it's hard to tell when guys, they're very tough. He's very tough mentally, and he wanted to be out there, and I thought he really held us against Oregon on the road, and he came back, and the ankle was not the reason we lost to Arizona.
Sure.
But Boogie has continued to do treatment. And those ankle injuries sometimes take a week or two, and sometimes two to 3 weeks. But we expect him to play as hard as he can on Saturday and help us try to win the game.
Status update on Isaiah White. What he brings to the floor is.
Yeah, he's improving his wrist. He had a really hard fall in the Washington State game. He really fell hard. It was very swollen. And it's his right shooting wrist, so he can't shoot a basketball. Unless he can use his left hand, but his left hand's not quite good enough. No, just joking. We think he should be game time decision. We won't really know until Saturday.
He's had a rough go just in terms of injuries this year, like bad timing. He had the back situation?
Yeah, the back tightened up, and
I know he said he thought that was just because of stress with beginning of the year, newborns and all that.
Isaiah White's one of the toughest players we've ever had here. He can play, he'll play. And he plays through a lot of pain as well. Boogie and Chavez and Isaiah, they try to play through everything. And sometimes we have to sit them out and give them rest. But I think Isaiah will be probably a game time decision. We expect Boogie to play.
Thanks, Coach. Cool.
Yeah, great.